Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/iknowtheowner. In today's episode, Karen knows the owner so classes are free. Chad tries to pick up a girl by knowing the owner. I'm with him, the owner. Crazy lady tries to call police on my dad's friend for being on her own property. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Karen knows the owner so classes are free. Cast: Me. EM entitled Mother. M Master, that's his official title. Backstory: I help teach martial arts. I've been doing martial arts for 10 years and teaching for about 5 or 6. I've become close with my teacher. He's like a father to me. I've been to family events, I've been to his home many times to have sleepovers with his daughter, he picks me up from school, I've gone to tournaments with him. Clarification: we stay in separate hotel rooms. I'm a minor and he has permission to take me to tournaments, etc. You get the point. Story: anyways, so we usually teach class together, but if someone comes in, I usually go so that he can continue teaching. Well, one day, a woman comes in and immediately starts flagging me down. In the middle of class. So I excuse myself and walk over there. Me: hello. How can I help you? M: why are you so slow? Me: pardon? M: next time an adult calls you over, you need to come immediately. Do you understand? I really didn't want to start something, so I said yes ma'am, and we continued. Me: what can I help you with today? M: I want to sign my son up for classes. Me: okay. Let me get a schedule and the payment options. M: oh, just the schedule. Me: pardon? M: I'll only need the schedule. I don't have to pay. I know the owner, and he said I can take for free. Me: miss, I can't do that. I'm not the owner. M: you can and you will. Do I make myself clear? I want free classes for my angel now. Yes, she said angel. At this point I'm getting agitated because I have severe anxiety when I get yelled at. So I start darting my eyes around and M catches my eyes. He gives me the "you okay" look and I just shake my head no. He gets the kids doing stuff and walks over. M: hello. What can I do for you? M: finally, a responsible adult. Next time I come in here, this slow *tch better not take forever. Anyways, I know the owner of this establishment and he said I can put my son here for free. So, snap to it. Me: excuse me. I'm going to go and continue with the kids. M: oh no, you can stay right here with me. You're okay. M: so you're going to defend her? I want to speak to the owner. M: you're looking at him. Miss, I own this establishment. This is my business that I built from the ground up. Now, I would greatly appreciate it if you apologize to Love Harold and leave my business now. You have no right to call her anything other than Ms. Last name. You are agitating her and the other children, and I do not appreciate it. Well, FYI, he's very protective of all of us. M: rolling eyes, ugh, sorry. She promptly stomped out of there and never came back. After that, we ended class early because M knew we were all agitated, and we just talked for about 30 minutes. If you made it this far, thanks for reading. Chad tries to pick up a girl by knowing the owner. This happened about 10 years ago. I'm not sure what made me think of this. I'm not a main character, but I promise I was directly to the side, witnessing this whole glorious exchange. In my early 20s I had a much more active social life than I do now. I spent a lot of time with a platonic female friend, Katie. Katie was an interesting mix of a naive extrovert. She always assumed people were telling the truth, but when someone's story didn't quite add up, she would keep prodding them, sometimes to an uncomfortable extent, thinking she was just misunderstanding their bad lie. She was also a looker. Her and I wound up at a house party of a friend of a friend of a friend. We were hanging out on the patio in a small group when an acquaintance briefly congratulated her on her new job at a well-known, semi-prestigious company in the area, we'll call it Widget Incorporated. Then Chad, a man in his mid-20s, wearing a pink polo and plaid shorts, perks up and slides up next to her. The conversation went like this: "Remember, Katie is totally sincere. The whole time." Chad: "Oh, that's cool, my company and I were working at the executive offices of Widget Inc. all this week." Katie: "Oh, that's so exciting." Chad: "Yeah, I know the head of Widget Incorporated pretty well." Katie: "Oh, do you know Steve or Bob?" Chad: "What?" Katie: "Steve's the owner, but Bob's the president and runs most everything." It's clear at this point, Chad doesn't quite know which door to pick. Chad: "Oh, yeah. Steve." Katie: "White hair, pretty tall, older." Chad's clearly relieved that Katie is giving up some information he can pretend he already knew so he can hop back on the lie train to Pound Town. Chad: Yeah. I worked with him a lot this past week at his office." Katie: "Really? He was out on vacation, are you sure it wasn't Bob?" Chad tries to cover. Chad: "Actually, I don't remember the name." Katie: "I bet it was Bob. Are you working on Project XYZ? I loved he went from I know him really well to I worked with for a week to I don't remember his name." Chad is fully aware now he shouldn't have inflated the time he spent moving Bob's furniture, installing his Ethernet cables, or whatever he actually did the past work week. Chad: "No, it was something else. Can't really talk about it. You know how it is. He's a cool guy though." Katie: That's so nice. What's your name?" Chad. He takes her hand and tries a seductive handshake. Katie: "Chad. Got it. I'll tell Bob on Monday I met you. I'll have to learn about this secret project." At this point I know I'm giving a look of dude you are truly *king this up, and I know a few other people in the circle probably are too. Chad finally realizes the jig is up. Chad: "Oh, cool. Yeah, nah, don't mention it. It's no biggie. But hey, I see a buddy of mine. Catch you later." Chad beelines for the other side of the house. What I knew, what most of our group knew, but what Chad didn't is that Katie was Bob's new personal assistant, but had interned with him for over 4 years. The reason why she wasn't in the office last week was because she was on vacation with her dad, the owner of the company. I'm with him, the owner. I posted this in entitled Parents, but was told I should put it here too. This happened about 4 years ago, not long after my father purchased a Vietnamese restaurant. My father was the executive pastor at his church, and while I was out as an atheist at this time, I still helped out around the church so that Dad wouldn't have to spend all day working. My parents live on a lake, so my dad and I would often go fishing on Sunday nights if he had time. On days that I would come and help with the cleanup, he would typically take me to his restaurant as compensation. We both love pho, so this was as much for him as it was for me. Well, when we got to his restaurant one Sunday afternoon, one of the members of the church was eating there with her 2 sons. Everyone knew my father owned the place, so it was pretty common to see people from the church there. I know that my dad was annoyed to see her eating out because she was unemployed and actually received aid from the church to help with her living expenses. We had several families who were long-time attendees who got aid in one form or another. Shortly after we were seated, we heard a commotion coming from this lady and someone on the wait staff. Basically, church lady had tried to leave without paying her bill, and when she was approached, she informed the waitress that she was with my father and I, so she wouldn't have to pay either. My dad had to get up and deal with the situation. He informed church lady that he actually always pays for our meals, and if he had invited her to lunch, he would have gladly covered her meal, but as she had come of her own accord, she would need to pay. Of course she was pissed about this, but did end up paying in the end. Church lady actually went to the senior pastor afterwards and explained how unchristian it was of my dad. I don't know any specifics, but I am sure she embellished the situation. My father left this church less than 6 months later because he felt that the senior pastor was taking advantage of his time. Crazy lady tries to call police on my dad's friend for being on her own property. Now, this happened many years ago and isn't my story but my stepfather's. It's always given us great laughs. We think back to it, so I thought I'd share. My stepdad was a very intelligent and versatile man. He worked for NASA in his youth. His father, too, taught adults with learning disabilities and eventually retired due to bad health and became a gardener/handyman. During this time, he met and worked for a wonderful couple who just so happened to be multi-millionaires. Although you wouldn't know it to look at them, they dress nice, but were always ready to muck in and get their hands dirty when needed. They are salt of the earth people, hardworking, kind, and definitely don't take any sh*t. The wife swears like a trooper and often dresses down when working in the garden, etc., and will happily pop out to the shops in the same attire. Unfortunately, not long after meeting, the husband was killed in a freak plane crash abroad. He was piloting and testing the plane ready to buy when a freak wind took it and cashed it just after takeoff. He was killed instantly. His wife was obviously devastated and soon became a fast family friend of ours. My dad helped her with everything in her giant house. Think small stately home with grounds, and around the businesses she still owned, which just so happened to be in one of the most affluent areas in our city. So one day Pam, stepdad's friend and owner, asked my stepdad to help her cut back some bushes and get rid of some rubbish at the back of one of the sections of shops, with very expensive apartments on top, that she owns. My stepdad, being my stepdad, of course agrees. So off they go and have been there a good few hours, cutting down, pruning, bagging up and getting everything ready to burn in the incinerator. There had been a bit of window twitching from one of the apartments while all this was going on, but they had a big job to do, and were losing light fast, so had a deadline they were working to. Now in my country it's customary to not have any fires, or burn anything until dusk. However, it is not law, and doesn't count if on private property. This is important later. So Pam and my stepdad were just filling the incinerator, and had set it alight when the window twitcher suddenly bursts out onto the balcony, and starts screaming down at Pam and my stepdad. Pam, owner and Wonder Woman. SD, stepdad. Crazy lady. Crazy lady, hey, what the hell do you think you're doing? I've been watching you for hours now, and you can't be here. This is private property. My property. SD lady, go back inside please, we're not doing you any harm, we have a job to do here, just let us work please. Crazy lady, no, you're not allowed to be here. You're obviously not from around here, just look at you, I'm worried you're up to no good. SD, look miss, please let us work, we're losing light, and we'll have to come back tomorrow to finish up if we waste any more time now. Goes to light incinerator again. Crazy lady screams, no, stop, how dare you. You're waiting till it's dark so you can break into my apartment. Plus it's illegal to have a fire before dusk, so you have to stop. I'm calling the police to report your suspicious behavior, and that you're having a fire and destroying my private property. You could never afford anything like this, so just leave and take your rubbish with you. Both of you are trouble, and you, pointing at my stepdad who looks anything but English, he has been mistaken for Arab/Greek etc. by Arabs/Greeks, all his life. You filthy, get away from my apartment, you're not welcome here, even to pick up rubbish. And you, pointing at Pam, you should be ashamed of yourself, even being in the company of someone like that. She even started threatening to throw things at them from her balcony to make them move away. Get away from my property, this is my apartment, you need to get away from it. Bear in mind Pam has kept quiet throughout all this so far, just keeps cleaning up and shaking her head at this crazy lady's insinuations. The incinerator had started to burn properly now when the crazy lady screamed and started shouting about calling the police and having them arrested. Pam had finally had enough and shouts. Pam, listen here, you crazy F***king B***tch, you go ahead and call the police on US, Illinois had you arrested for false accusations and harassment. Crazy lady, hi, you have no power here, you scum. I'm calling the police and you and your friend will be sent back to where you come from. Pam is Caucasian and looks very Caucasian too. Pale skin, white hair, etc. That must have pushed Pam over the edge, as at this she spun around and screamed at the crazy lady. Pam, right now I'm calling the police, you stupid cow. Not only have you harassed us, threatened us, but now you've pushed it too far. Listen here lady, I can burn whatever the *ck I want on this property, regardless of the time of day. I'm doing it at dusk to be courteous to you, but you've *k'd that now. This is my building, I own the whole thing including the apartment you're currently sat in. That's right. I'm your landlord. We have been here today clearing my property, because it's overgrown, and you hadn't bothered to do it even though it's a condition of your lease/tenancy contract. So as a result of the blatant disregard and breaking of your tenancy, plus your disgusting attitude today along with the threats, I feel I may have no option but to not renew your tenancy contract when it expires, which is very soon, and request that you start making other arrangements as soon as possible. The look on crazy lady's face was a mix of ashen and red humiliation as Pam removed her hat to reveal the huge diamond stud earrings she always wore, even in the garden, and her signature hairdo. Crazy lady's face dropped and she ran back inside, slamming the door and pulling down the blind. Pam and Est continued with their work, now pretty much in the dark, but the incinerator was still burning brightly. They both returned the next day to continue with the work that needed doing, and not a peep from crazy lady. Pam decided to have an ask around of the other neighbors of the apartments and the shops downstairs to see if they particular neighbor had been giving anyone else problems. Guess what? She was constantly banging on the floors, shop ceiling, during the days which disrupted the shops, and she was always banging on the walls of other apartments for no reason during the night. So crazy lady's tenancy was not renewed and she was made to move out not long after the incident.